Hello everyone. So today, ang i-discuss natin ay Chapter 30 sa Young and Friedman. Ang topic ay tungkol sa inductance. Okay. So basically, inductance ay isang electrical property na makukuha natin from yung interaction ng magnetic field with a coil of wire or vice versa. Okay. So, pinag-aralan na natin to before dun sa previous topics natin na covered dun sa third exam. Alam natin na pag merong wire at nagpadaan tayo ng current na time varying dun sa wire na yon, magpuproduce siya ng magnetic field. Okay? And vice versa, kung merong magnetic field na pumapasok through that wire at yung magnetic field na yun ay time varying, magpo-produce siya ng current through the wire at saka ng EMF. Okay. So, dito, ay i-consider natin ay dalawang coils naman. So, dito sa figure 13.1, meron tayong dalawang coils. Okay. Sa coil 1, merong N1 turns at ang coil 2, merong N2 turns. Mag-a-apply tayo ng current dun sa coil 1. Okay. At yung current na yon ay nagbabago or time varying, hindi constant. So, ang effect nun ay magpo-produce siya ng magnetic field. At yung magnetic field na yan is indicated by the blue lines. Okay? Okay. Now, if we put a second coil near the first coil, tulad ng nakikita nyo sa figure, okay, mararamdaman ng second coil na yan yung magnetic field nanggaling dun sa coil 1. Okay? At dahil naramdaman nyo yung magnetic field, merong flux na phi B2 dun sa second coil, okay, magpo-produce siya ng EMF. At meron ding current na mapoproduce dun sa second na coil. Okay? So, yung EMF na mapoproduce dun sa second coil, so EMF to dun sa second coil, kaya EMF2 okay, ay equal sa, okay, according dun sa equations na pinag-aralan natin before, equal sa negative N2, which is yung number of turns, times yung time rate of change ng flux through B2. Okay? Okay. Now, how do we relate yung flux na B2 dun sa current na na-form or na nilagay natin dun sa coil 1? Okay, so there must be some way to relate yung flux sa B2 dun sa current nanggaling um, sa first coil. Okay, so ang ibig ko sabihin, is there a relationship, okay, that relates phi B2 with I1? Okay, it turns out na meron. And actually, uh, yung phi B2 ay proportional lang sa I1. At yung proportionality constant ay M21. Tatawagin natin M21. Okay. M21 yan kasi yung 2 stands for the second coil, kung saan nagkaroon ng induced na EMF tsaka induced na current. And yung 1 na subscript stands for yung source ng magnetic field, which is due to the current I1. Okay. In general, lalagyan natin ng N2 dito, okay, para ma-indicate din yung number of turns. Okay. Now, this relationship is only valid if the coils are in vacuum. If there's a magnetic material present, yung M21 will depend on yung magnetic properties ng material. Okay. Now, kung yung material ay may non-linear na magnetic properties, mas magiging komplikado yung relationship between phi B2 and I1 kasi yung mismong M21 ay meron ng dependence sa sa flux na yun. Okay. So yung simplest case na kung saan yung coils are in vacuum, okay, treats yung M21 as a constant. Okay, at yun yung assumption na gagawin natin. Gagamitin natin. Now, yung M21 na yan ay tinatawag na mutual inductance. Okay. And kung yung coils nga ay in vacuum, then yung mutual inductance na yan will only depend on the geometry of the two coils. So, ibig sabihin, yung size ng dalawang coils, yung shape, number of turns, and orientation ng bawat coil sa isa't isa, and yung separation between the coils. Okay? So, yun lang yung basic assumption natin dito. Okay? So, M21 is called the mutual inductance. So, we can write phi B2 equals sa M21 I1 over N2. Okay. Tapos, pwede nating isulat, kunin natin yung time derivative ng phi B2. Since constant naman ng M21, and constant din yung I2, so dI1 dt. Which means na ang E2 ay equal sa negative ng N2 times M21 over N2 dI1 dt. Okay, galing dito sa equation na ito. Okay, or E2 is equal to negative M21 dI1 dt. Okay, so this expression relates yung EMF na na-produce sa coil 2 dahil sa current na present dun sa coil 1. And again, it's important na dapat yung current na to ay time varying, hindi pwedeng constant. Otherwise, hindi sila magpo-produce ng EMF dun sa coil 2 at current dun sa coil 2. So, again, ito expression na to relates yung current from I1, okay, and yung induced current dito sa coil 2. We can do the same, okay, for coil 2 and coil 1. Ibig sabihin, if coil 2 produces the current, or coil 2 has the time varying current, then it produces a magnetic field, okay, which is felt by coil 1, at sa coil 1, magpo-form ka naman ng EMF. So, yung coil 1 ay may EMF na E1, equal ngayon sa negative M okay, 1, 2, and then dI2 dt. Na kung saan yung N1 phi B1 ay equal sa M12 I2. So you have I2 being produced in coil 2 and nagkakaroon ka ng flux through the first coil. At yung flux na yan is phi B1. Okay? And yung technology na yan or itong basic concept na to ay ma-apply natin sa technologies tulad nitong electric toothbrush. Okay? Actually, walang physical connection between this toothbrush at saka itong charger niya. You can simply pull out yung toothbrush na yan. Okay? And the way that this charges is precisely kung paano nangyayari yung mutual inductance. So you have a primary coil here, which produces a time-varying current. And then you have a secondary coil dito sa loob ng toothbrush na nagpo-produce ng EMF because of the current dun sa coil 1. At dahil may EMF ka dito, nag-charge niya yung buong toothbrush. Okay? So, marami pang ibang pinagagamitan ng ganitong klaseng technologies. Okay. So, we can write yung mga equations na yon. Okay, in this way. Okay, so we have E2 is the induced EMF in coil 2. Uh, wait. Ito na nga. Induced EMF in coil 2 dahil dun sa changing current in coil 1. And yung relationship nila is is described by this mutual inductance. Similarly, kung meron kang changing current sa I2, sa coil 2, it will produce an EMF in coil 1. And yung relationship between these currents and EMF ay through the mutual inductance. Now, yung M21 at saka M12 ay equal lang sa isa't isa. Kaya dito, hindi na tinanggal na natin yung subscripts because they're both the same. Okay? So, yung mutual inductance is given by these expressions. So, ang sinasabi dito, sa first one, the current is coming from coil 1 at may flux ka through phi B2. Dito naman, the current is coming from coil 2 and yung flux ay nararamdaman dun sa coil 1. Okay. So, yan yung equations na ginagamit natin dyan. Now, ang mutual inductance ay may unit na Henry, okay, or H. Okay. So, ang isang Henry ay equal sa 1 Weber per ampere or equal sa 1 volt second per ampere or 1 ohm second and then 1 joules per ampere square. Okay, yung Henry ay yung unit ng mutual inductance. Okay, let's consider this example. Okay, in one form of Tesla coil, a high voltage generator popular in science museums, a long solenoid with length L na cross-sectional area A is closely wound with N1 turns of wire, tulad nung nakikita nyo dun sa figure. A coil with N2 turns surrounds it at its center. So find the mutual inductance M. Okay. Excuse. So yung magnetic field na po-produce dito as a result of the current, okay, is B1 kasi ang current ay nagpo-flow through B1. And alam natin na pag coil, yung B1 ay equal sa mu naught N1 I1. Kung saan yung small n1 ay equal sa capital N1 over L. So this is a line density. Okay. So yan yung B1. Okay. And we need to multiply this by yung cross-sectional ng A, cross-sectional area na A para makuha natin yung flux. Okay. So mutual inductance is given by N2 phi B2 over I1. Okay, and to get the flux, we need to multiply B1 by the cross-sectional area by I1. Okay. So ang nakuha na natin na ang B1 ay equal sa mu naught N1, oops, I1 over L times A. Okay. So, alam natin, okay, na siyempre magka-cancel dyan yung I1. Okay, and pwede natin i-simplify ito na mu naught A N1 N2 over L. So we have 4 pi times 10 to the minus 7 Weber ampere meter. And then yung N1 number of turns ay, sorry, area muna, sorry. 1.0 times 10 to the minus 3 square meters. And then 1,000 turns yung N1. 10 turns yung N2, divided by yung length, which is 0.5. So yung mutual inductance in this case is 25 times 10 to the minus 6 Weber per ampere, or 25 times 10 to the minus 6 Henry, or 25 micro Henry. Okay, so let's consider itong next example. Now, in example 30.1, to sa previous na example, suppose the current I2 in the outer coil is given by I2 equals to 2 times 10 to the 6 ampere per second times T. So meron time dependence. Currents in wires can indeed increase this rapidly for brief periods. Letter A, at T equals 3.0 microsecond, what is the average magnetic flux through each turn of the solenoid coil 1 due to the current in the outer coil? Letter B, what is the induced EMF in the solenoid? Okay, so for letter A, okay, ano yung tinahanap yung average magnetic flux through each turn of the solenoid dun sa coil 1. Okay, so remember mayroong I2 o current na nandun sa coil 2, which is given by this expression. Okay, I2 is equal to 2 times 0 times 10 to the 6 ampere per second T. Okay, and magkakaroon niya ng flux dun sa coil I1. Okay, so at t equals 3 microseconds, then we have I2 equals 2 times 10 to the 6 ampere per second times 3 times 10 to the minus 6 seconds. Okay. So yung flux, okay, sorry, equal to sa 6 amperes. So yung flux dun sa current, dun sa coil 1, okay, is given by yung mutual inductance the times yung current I2 at that instant divided by the number of turns dun sa flux 1. Okay. Dun sa coil 1. So, na-compute na natin yung flux to be 25 microhenry. And then na-compute na natin yung current just now to be 6 amperes. And we all know that yung N1 is 1,000 turns. So, turns. So, yung flux B1 is 1.5 times 10 to the minus 7 Weber. So letter B, what is the induced EMF in the solenoid? Okay, so ito yung letter A, and we have an expression for the induced EMF, which is equal to negative M d I2 dt. Okay, if we take the derivative of I2, okay, so with respect to time, so di2 dt is equal to 2 times 10 to the minus 10 to the 6 ampere second. So E1 ay equal sa 25 times 10 to the minus 6 Henry times 2 times 10 to the 6 ampere second. Which means na ang induced EMF is negative 50 volts. Okay. So for that small current at a brief period of time, magpo-produce na kagad siya ng 50 volts. Okay? Okay. So dito pinag-usapan natin yung inductance between two coils. Okay? So tawag natin sa inductance na yun ay mutual inductance. But sometimes you can get inductance dahil lang sa single coil. So ang ibig ko sabihin, if dito sa figure, no, naglagay ka ng EMF, okay, syempre magpo-produce siya ng current, okay, which is described by this purple line, purple arrows. Yung current na dadaan dun sa coil ay magpo-produce ng magnetic field, which is described by these blue lines. Okay. Now, yung magnetic field na yan ay syempre nararamdaman nung coil na yan at nagre-resist siya, okay, sa ano sa tawag dito sa change na yon. Okay? Which means na merong inductance as a result of its own production of the current. Okay? So ang tawag natin diyan ay self-inductance. Okay? Now, yung expression for the self or yung self-inductance is symbolized by the letter L. Okay? And yung expression, kung titignan niyo mabuti, is very similar dun sa mutual inductance. It's just equal to N times yung flux through the coil divided by yung current in the coil. And yung induced na EMF, which is a self-induced voltage, is then given by the negative of the self-inductance, okay, or the inductance of the circuit times di dt. Okay, so if you have a coil at nagpadaan ka ng current dyan sa coil na yan within the circuit, magpuproduce siya ng sarili niyang EMF. Okay, anong itsura nung EMF niya? Okay, so if you want to introduce yung inductors as part of the circuit elements, okay, we use itong symbol na ito. Yan. Okay, so it's ang symbol na yan is straight line and then my coil and then another straight line. Okay, yan ang symbol natin, electrical symbol for an inductor. Okay, which is nothing but a device, an electrical device that produces um, a magnetic field and as a result produces its own EMF as a result of that magnetic field. Okay, so anong itsura ng EMF niya na napoproduce? So it's, if we compare that to a resistor, if we have a current that is moving from point A to point B, okay, we know na in this case, yung positive terminal ay nasa point A at yung negative terminal ay nasa point B. Okay? So merong voltage drop from point A to point B at nagda-drop yung voltage kasi kinukuha ng resistor yung energy na yun. Okay. Now for an inductor, okay, first of all, if the current is constant, non-varying, so yung di dt is equal to 0, then wala kang induced na EMF, as we can see from letter B. However, sa letter C, if the current is time-varying and if the current is increasing, yung EMF na mapoproduce niya is in such a way na yung point A yung positive at yung point B ay negative. So yung EMF ay directed towards point A. And the EMF in this case ay positive. Now, wait. Okay, apologies. Meron lang technical na difficulties. Pero anyway, so if, again, ang sinasabi ko kanina, if yung current passing through the coil or through the inductor is increasing in the direction na nakikita nyo rito sa figure C, okay, yung EMF, ang direction ng EMF ay nagpo-point from the negative towards the positive direction. So yung point A will become positive at yung point B will become negative at yung EMF points from negative to positive. Okay, in this case, yung EMF ay positive. Okay, pero merong voltage drop. Okay, dito sa inductor. The same as yung voltage drop dun sa resistor. However, if yung EMF ay nagde-decrease in this direction, okay, this time, yung positive terminal ay nasa point B na at yung negative terminal ay nasa point A. And yung EMF will point from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. Okay? So, ganyan yung nangyayari dyan. Okay. And yan yung convention na susundin natin when we analyze circuits in a little while. Okay. So, next example. So, determine the self-inductance of a toroidal solenoid with cross-sectional area A and mean radius R and closely wound with n turns of wire on a non-magnetic core. Okay, so assume B is uniform across a cross-section. That is, neglect the variation of B with distance from the toroid axis. Okay, so nakalimutan ko atang ilagay dito yung figure 30.8 dun sa Young and Friedman. It's in page 994. So pakitignan nyo na lang. Okay, so ipapakita ko lang yung solution pero as I read to the solution, tignan nyo yung figure na dun sa book. Okay? So ang unang pinapahanap dito, okay, is yung self-inductance. Or ang pinapahanap talaga dito is yung self-inductance. But yung self-inductance is given by L equals N phi B over I. Now, alam natin yung N, okay? And alam din natin yung I. Okay? Kasi itong mga ito ay directly measurable na quantities. Okay, so ang kailangan na natin kunin ay yung flux. Now, yung flux is given by B times A. Okay. And for a coil, okay, or for a solenoid, yung flux is just mu naught times N times I over 2 pi R. Okay. And and then yung multiply natin yung by area para makuha yung magnetic flux. Okay. So yung ating self-inductance ngayon is equal to N over I times mu naught Ni over 2 pi R times A or mu naught N squared A over 2 pi R. Okay, let's say for example, now we have N equals 200 turns. Okay, tapos A is equal to 5.0 square centimeters. Okay, and R is equal to 0.10 meters. So this means na ang L ay equals to 4 pi times 10 to the minus 7 Weber per ampere meter. Okay, tapos 200 terms squared and then 5 times 10 to the minus 4 meters squared divided by 2 pi times 0.10 meters. So in this case, ang inductance ay 40 times 10 to the minus 6 Henry equals sa 40 microhenry. Okay. This time, compute natin yung self-induced na EMF. Okay. So if the current in the toroidal solenoid in the previous example increases uniformly from 0 to 6 amperes in 3 seconds. Okay, so find the magnitude and direction of the self-induced EMF. Okay. So paano natin i-express to mathematically? So this is a change in current, okay, over change in time. So that's di dt. And the current change from 0 to 6 amperes in 3 microseconds or 3 times 10 to the minus 6 seconds. So this gives us 2.0 times 10 to the 6 ampere per second. Now, yung EMF ay equal sa negative L di dt. Ngayon, ang L, compute natin na 40 microhenry or 40 times 10 to the minus 6 Henry. And yung di dt is 2 times 10 to the 6 ampere per second. So yung EMF na mapoproduce dito is negative 80 volts. Okay. So yung EMF dito is increasing. Okay, and it's opposite to that of the current, and kita natin yan from the negative side. Okay. Now let's discuss yung nangyayari sa inductor in terms of energy. So ano bang ginagawa ng inductor talaga? Okay, so nakikita natin nagpo-produce siya ng EMF. Okay, contrary sa ginagawa ng resistor, ang resistor only uses up the energy that it takes from the source, okay, from the voltage source. Pero yung inductor actually stores this energy. And yung energy na in-store niya ay tinatawag na magnetic potential energy. Okay? Now, gaano niya kabilis ni-store yung energy na ito? So, to discuss kung gaano kabilis yung pag-store niya ng energy, we're actually talking about yung rate of change ng energy na pagpasok sa inductor, which means we're talking about power. Okay. So yung power, okay, ay equal sa VAB times yung I. Okay. So dito, if we have a current that's changing this direction through the inductor, then we have voltage across AB, and that translates to yung, kung gaano kabilis yung energy na nalilipat through the inductor, and that means it's we're talking about power. So ang EMF dito na mapoproduce is L di dt. So we write L I di dt. Okay? So yung energy na to ay supplied to the inductor per unit time. Okay, so that means yung energy na to is magnetic potential energy, kaya du, and then so per unit time, so dt. Which means na kung i-compare natin itong dalawa na to, yung du ay equal sa Li di. And pag kinuha natin yung u, then we have Li di, okay, integral from 0 to the final value of I, which is what you see here dito sa equations na ito. So that brings us to 1/2 Li squared. So this energy is the energy stored in a conductor. And you can get that from knowing yung inductance, yung self-inductance, at saka yung final na current na dumadaan through the inductor. Okay. Okay. Now, sometimes we also refer to yung density, okay, ng energy na na-store sa isang inductor. Okay, and we call that magnetic energy density. And in vacuum, ito yung expression for that. And in a material, ito yung expression for that. Ang basic difference lang is that here you use the permeability constant, okay, in vacuum. Pero dito, you use the permeability constant inside a material. Okay. So, consider natin itong susunod na example. Okay. Storing energy in an inductor. Okay, so in an inductor, the electric power industry, in this example, the electric power industry would like to find efficient ways to store electrical energy generated during low demand hours to help meet customer requirements during high demand hours. So could a large inductor be used? And if that's the case, ano yung inductance na kailangan to store 1 kilowatt-hour of energy in a coil carrying a 200 ampere na current? So we have this 200 ampere na current na dumadaan dun sa coil. Okay? And yung energy, okay, na i-store dito is 1 kilowatt, and then that's hour. So that's essentially 1,000 watts. Okay, 1,000 watts times 3,600 seconds. Okay, so kailangan natin i-convert to seconds. So the energy is 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules. Okay, we have an expression for energy dito. Okay, U is equal to 1 half Li squared. And if we're looking for the inductance, so we get L equals 2U over I squared. Okay, so galing yan sa 1 half, U is equal to 1 half Li squared. Okay, so 2 times yung energy na na-store niya, which is 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules, divided by 200 amperes, and then quantity is squared. So yung inductance na kailangan is 180 Henry. Okay, now if you compare that dun sa mga inductances na na-compute natin, tignan nyo, this is 10 to the minus 6, this is, yan yung nakuha na natin before. And yung mutual inductance actually is also 10 to the minus 6. So, if you talk about 180 Henry na inductance, okay, ano yung physical requirements dyan? Gaano kalaki yung area ng coil? Gaano kalaki yung coils na kailangan? Gaano kalaki yung current na patadaanin? Well, kita nyo naman dito, ang current na pinapadaan is 200 amperes. So, anong tawag dito? Kaya bang i-achieve yung 180 Henry na yun? Okay? So, to do that, kailangan mo ng malaking-malaking room. Okay? O malaking-malaking area, the size of a room, para lang makapaproduce ng 180 Henry na inductor. Okay? So, if the electric power industry would like to do that, yun yung requirement para ma-achieve nila yung goal. Okay. Okay. So, apologies at hindi ko napansin na hindi pa nakashare yung aking screen, pero ngayon napansin ko na at I hope na makuha nyo rin yung notes. So sasabayan nyo sana yung notes at saka yung video para makita nyo kung ano yung sinasabi ko without the notes kanina at yung nangyayari dun sa notes. Okay, pero ngayon kita ko na yung notes ay available. Okay, so we have these notes as I am discussing these topics. Okay? Okay, so now let's use yung inductor in an actual electrical circuit. Okay, so what we have here in this figure, okay, is, or yung components, first of all, ay meron kang voltage source, which is yung EMF. Okay? Then, you have a resistor R, and then you have an inductor L with an inductance L. Okay? Dun sa top circuit, meron kang switch S1, and then dun sa bottom circuit, meron kang switch S2. Explain ko muna yung purpose ng switch S1 at saka S2. So, yung switch S1, if you turn that on, which means na ibababa mo, di ba? Okay, what happens is that the current will flow, okay, or the current will start flowing from the source to the resistor and goes through the inductor and then back to the EMF. Walang dadaan dun sa lower line kasi yung switch S2 is open. Okay, now you only store energy or you only have EMF within the conductor at the instant, okay, na in-on mo yung switch kasi yun lang yung merong change, di ba? Remember that the current is not time varying, walang EMF na mapoproduce dun sa inductor o hindi na magbabago yung ano niya, yung energy na nasa-store doon. Okay? So ibig sabihin momentary lang yung kakaroon ng magnetic flux dun sa inductor at nung EMF dun sa inductor. Okay? Then, once na ma-reach nyo na yung state na yon na hindi na nagbabago yung EMF sa inductor o wala nang EMF sa inductor, ang tawag doon ay steady state, you open switch S1. Okay, so open nyo ulit yung switch S1. Okay, then you close switch S2. Now remember, meron ng energy na na-store dito. And that energy, okay, will then be used up as current flowing through the resistor. Hindi siya dadaan dito sa ibabaw kasi inopen na natin siya, yung switch S1, di ba? So meron ka lang current dito sa lower na loop. And yung inductor mo ngayon acts as a voltage source. Okay, kasi may energy na natira dun sa inductor. It stored the energy, okay, when the switch S1 was closed. Okay, so in the case na kung saan yung switch S1 was closed and switch S2 was open, china-charge natin yung inductor. In the same way na china-charge natin yung capacitor before, okay, nagsustore ngayon ng energy yung inductor. And it's called magnetic potential energy. And once it has stored that energy, you can use that energy anywhere. So you open switch 1, so wala nang connection through switch 1. You close switch 2, so meron ng connection through switch 2. Then that energy is going to be dissipated through the resistor. Okay? So meron ka ng discharging nung energy from the inductor doon sa resistor. Okay? So, okay. So consider muna natin yung case na closed yung switch S1 at open yung switch S2. Ano yung voltages across each of the circuit element? Siyempre, yung voltage through, dun sa voltage source is just yung EMF E. Pero dun sa ano, okay, so switch S1 close, S2 open. Okay? So yung VAB ay equal lang sa current times yung resistance. And which is, this is yung voltage across the resistor, di ba? And then yung voltage across the capacitor, the inductor, is just given by L di dt. Okay? So, iniisip nyo bakit positive yan? Okay? Hindi ba dapat negative? Okay, remember, yung EMF na mo-produce is such that dito yung plus, dito yung minus. Okay? Pag increasing yung current in this direction. Okay? So, dahil baliktad yung sign, okay, yung negative dito, multiply mo lang by -1, so kaya magiging positive yung voltage across BC. And that voltage across BC is the voltage drop dun sa inductor. It's a voltage drop. Kinukuha niya yung voltage from the EMF source, okay, para i-store na inductor yung voltage na yun. So if we use Kirchhoff's rules, we get yung EMF, which is yung source, and that source, voltage source, is used up dun sa resistor, okay? It's converted to heat. And it's also used up dun sa inductor, at yung voltage na dun sa inductor is L di dt, and it stores that energy. Okay, from Kirchhoff's rules, yan ay equal to 0. So, we now have a differential equation. Okay, and we can write this as di dt is equal to, E minus I over IR divided by L. Okay, or E over L minus R over L times I. Okay, so at the instant the switch is closed, so at T equals 0, at that instant nakaka-close mo pa lang yung yung switch, okay, yung current of course is still 0. Okay, so yung DI dt, okay, initial to okay, at T equals 0. So at T equals 0 is equal to E over L. Okay, now as the current increases, okay, ito, nag-i-increase din. Okay? So the rate of increase ng current is given by this expression. So rate of increase of the current is given by that expression. Okay. So we can now solve for an expression dito sa ano na to, we can now solve for I, okay, or solve the differential equation. Okay, so ang gagawin natin essentially is we write di over, okay, so ito gagawin nating E over L minus R over Li is equal to dt. Okay, factor out natin yung L. Okay, so we have di. Factor out natin actually yung RL. So we have di over I minus E over R. Okay, and then negative R over L dt. Okay, now we can now integrate both sides. Okay, and if we do that, syempre we integrate from t equals 0 to some current I, and then papalitan natin to ng I prime. And then we also integrate this from 0 to some finite time. Papalitan natin yun ng dt. So if we do the integration, we get I is equal to E over R times 1 minus exponential ng negative R over L times T. Okay. So this is the current, okay, through or in an RL circuit. Okay, so we call this an RL circuit. Okay. Okay. And yan ay charging current. So, anong nangyayari dito? So, t equals 0, tignan nyo, t equals 0, itong second term ay magiging equal sa 0. Right? Um, sorry. T equals 0, yung second term magiging equal sa 1. So, we have 1 minus 1. So, yung current is equal to 0 as expected. Okay. Tapos, okay, kunin natin yung derivative nito, no? di dt, okay, is equal to um, wait, E over L times exponential ng negative R over LT. Okay, and if T is equal to 0, okay, yung di dt will become equal to E over L, which is yung exactly expression na nakuha natin dito. Okay, so kailangan ko magdagdag ng page dito. Magdagdag na ako. Okay, notice na merong R over L na term doon. Oops. Okay, yung R over L na term, okay, we actually call that, or we use yung parameter as na tau to define that. Okay, at yung parameter na yan ay tinawag natin na time constant. Okay, so familiar na tayo dyan sa parameter na yan kasi sa case ng RC circuits, we also have a time constant which is equal to, okay, R times C. So for RC circuits. Okay, so for an inductor, yung time constant is just L over R. So, ribaliktad to. L over R. Okay. So, yung time constant again is defined as the time it takes for the current to reach 63% of its current value. And typically, after 5 time constants, then you reach the maximum value of charging the circuit. Okay. Now, sinabi natin kanina na nag-store tayo ng energy dito, di ba? Okay, and ano yung energy na nai-store natin? First of all, yung energy okay, na nagagaling dun sa voltage source, sa EMF, is E times I. Kung ano man yung current na napoproduce, multiplied by the voltage, yan yung total na energy na nanggagaling, na binibigay ng voltage source. Now, yung energy dissipated dun sa resistor is I squared R. And na-compute natin kanina na yung energy na ini-store dun sa inductor is L di dt. So again, this is the source, this is dissipated across the resistor, and this is stored in the inductor. Okay, and this is the source of energy. Okay, let's consider this example. So a sensitive electronic device of resistance R is equal to 175 ohms is to be connected to a source of EMF of negligible internal resistance by a switch. The device is designed to operate with a 36 milliampere current. Okay, but to avoid damage to the device, the current can rise to no more than 4.9 milliamperes in the first 58 microseconds after the switch is closed. An inductor is therefore connected in series with the device as shown in figure 30.11. That's about 30.11. Okay, yan ang 30.11. Okay. The switch in question is S1. Okay, what is the required source EMF? And letter B, what is the required inductance L? And letter C, what is the RL time constant? Okay, so ang given dito, okay, I R equals 175 ohms. Okay, and it's designed to operate with a 36 milliampere na current. So yung current is 36 milliamperes or 0.036 amperes. Okay, the current can rise to no more than 4.9 milliamperes to avoid damage. Okay, in the first 58 seconds after the switch is closed. Okay, so ano ngayon yung sa letter A, ano yung EMF? Okay, yung EMF is given by I times R. So that's 0.036 amperes times 175 ohms. Okay. So this is equal to 6.3 volts. Okay, so yan yung source EMF. So letter B, what is the required inductance? Okay. To get the inductance, okay, we are going to use yung expression, okay, na na-solve natin or na nakuha natin. Okay. Um, so, so yung expression na yon is I equals E over R, 1 minus exponential negative R over LT. Okay. Syempre, multiply natin to by R over E, and then equals to 1 minus exponential negative R over L times T, or exponential negative R over L times T ay equals to 1 minus Ri over E. Okay. So, i-isolate na lang natin yung L dito sa exponential. And what we get is L equals negative RT over Ln ng 1 minus I R over E. Okay. So, yung inductance ngayon is then given by negative 175 ohms. Tapos, sabi rito in the first 58 microseconds, right? So, 58 times 10 to the minus 6 seconds divided by Ln ng 1 minus, ano yung current na nagko-correspond dun sa 58 microseconds? It's 4.9 milliamperes or 4.9 times 10 to the minus 3 amperes times yung resistance na 175 ohms divided by yung EMF na na-compute natin which is 6.3 volts. Okay? So, dito ang inductance will be 69 millihenry. Now, letter C is asking for the time constant. Okay, so ang time constant is is given by L over R. Alam natin yung L, which is 69 times 10 to the minus 3 Henry, divided by 175 ohms. And this gives us 3.9 times 10 to the minus 4 seconds, or yung time constant is 390 microseconds. Okay, so it's a very short time constant. Okay, so yung 58 microseconds is much less than the time constant. So it's still building up yung current, okay, to 4.9 milliamperes within that 58 microseconds. Okay, so after 390 microseconds, then nasa 63% na yung total na current. Okay, which is about 23 milliamperes. Okay. Now, i-consider naman natin yung case na kung saan naka-close. Okay, sorry. Ito yung graph ng I versus T kapag naka-close yung switch S1. So, ang nangyayari dito is yung current, ito yung current versus time na graph. Okay. So, ang nangyayari dito is at time t equals 0, wala ka pang current. Okay, as we already know from yung discussions natin earlier. Okay, and then after one time constant, yung current mo increases to about 63% of its value. Okay? And then after 5 time constant, so sabihin natin to 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 time constants, nasa maximum na yung current. So yung shape ng expression na ito, okay, I versus T, is this violet na or yung purple na curve. Okay? Okay, what about when the switch S1 is open tapos switch S2 is closed? So tulad na sinabi natin, nag-store na siya ng energy dito sa inductor. And pag close mo yung S2, gagamitin niya yung energy na yan at ibabato niya dun sa R. At yung R, ang gagawin niya is ko-convert niya lahat yan to heat. So i-dissipate niya yan i-dissipate niya yung energy, okay, na in-store nung inductor. Okay, so what will happen here is that dalawa na lang yung circuit elements mo kasi wala ka ng voltage source. Ang unang circuit element has an energy given by I squared R, and again, it uses that energy. Okay. And then, yung energy na na-store dun sa inductor is L di dt. Okay. At galing sa Kirchhoff's rules, yan ay equal to 0 kasi wala ka na ibang circuit elements yan. Okay, so this one is easy to solve. This differential equation is much easier to solve. And if we do that, we get this expression I is equal to I naught exponential minus R over L times T. Okay, again, yung tau dito is yung time constant na L over R. Pero in this case, pag nagdi-discharge yung inductor, okay, so after one time constant, it corresponds to 37%, okay, of the total current, or a 63% na loss, okay, ng current. And then after 5 time constants, okay, medyo na-discharge mo na lahat ng mga current or energy na nandoon sa inductor. Okay. So, i-consider natin itong example na ito. So, when the current in an RL circuit is decaying, what fraction of the original energy in the inductor has been dissipated after 2.3 time constants? So, we know that I is equal to I naught exponential negative R over L times T. Okay? So, ang tinatanong is fraction of the original energy stored. Okay, so ang energy dun sa inductor is U is equal to 1/2 L I squared. Okay, so 1/2 L times I naught squared exponential times 2 times negative R over L times T. Okay, Now, itong Li naught is just yung original energy niya. Okay, so pwede natin siyang isulat or yung energy at t equals 0. Pwede lang natin siya isulat as U naught is equal to 1/2 L I naught squared. Okay. So, at, sabi rito, 2.3 time constants, di ba? So, T is equal to 2.3 time constants. Okay, or 2.3 times L over R. So, yung energy ay equal sa U naught times exponential negative 2 times 2.3. Okay. So, baka magtaka kayo kung saan galing yan. Okay. So, this is RT over L. Okay. So, ito, at saka yan. So, T is equal to 2.3 L over R or T is equal to, or RT over L is equal to 2.3. Kaya 2.3 yung nakalagay dyan. Okay. So, this is straightforward to calculate. So, U is equal to 0.010 U naught. Okay, so kailangan na natin i-solve yung U naught. Okay, and sabi natin from yung previous na example, after yung isang time constant is 390 microseconds. Okay, and that corresponds to an inductance of 69 millihenry and yung current ay 36 milliamperes. Okay, so pwede na natin ma-compute yung mu naught. Okay, base dun sa given before, Li naught squared. So 1/2 times 0.069, Henry times 0.036 ampere squared. So U naught is equal to 4.5 times 10 to the minus 5 joules. So ang U ngayon dito is equal to 0.01 times 4.5 times 10 to the minus 5 joules. Or yung energy is equal to 4.5 times 10 to the minus 7 joules. Okay, pero from this equation pala, makikita natin na already 99% is dissipated. Diba? Kasi ang natira na lang is 0.01. 1% na lang yung natira dun ng original. Ibig sabihin, 99% ang na-use up after 2.3 time constants. Okay. Now, bakit hindi 5? Kasi remember, this is energy. Hindi ito current. If we're talking about current, after 5 time constants, then yung saka lang mag-zero yung current. But we're solving for the energy here. Yung energy after 2.3 time constants. And it turns out na for this particular case, after 2.3 time constants, na-use up na lahat nung energy niya. Okay. Okay. So again, if you have questions, just take a picture of the slide, point out kung ano yung ni-refer nyo na specifics, and then saka nyo i-explain kung ano yung question ninyo. Natin ngayon yung RL na circuits. Okay. Now, ang next na i-discuss natin ay LC na circuit. So dito wala munang resistor. Okay, to simplify things. So ang nangyayari dito is you have a capacitor and an inductor that are connected, okay, in series with each other. So initially, maglalagay tayo ng charge. I-charge muna natin yung capacitor. Okay. And kung makikita nyo dun sa unang figure, yung merong switch dito. Okay. Now yung switch na yan, okay, ay naka-open. And dito sa baba, makikita nyo yung total energy, okay, which is indicated as a brown color. At makikita nyo yung energy na stored dun sa inductor, which is described by UB, at yung energy stored sa capacitor, which is described as UE. Okay, UE for electrical energy, so you're storing electrical potential energy sa capacitor. And UB for magnetic potential energy na pwede mong i-store dun sa inductor. So initially, okay, all of the energy is stored in the capacitor. So once you close the capacitor, at that instant, once you close the switch at that instant, okay, lahat ng energy, yung total energy, is just due to the energy stored inside the capacitors, the electric potential energy. Okay, and then after some time, which is about 1/4 of the period as indicated here, okay, malilipat na lahat ng energy na yon dun sa inductor. Okay, so you have current flowing from the capacitor, and that change in current, di ba kasi nagde-decrease yung current from the capacitor, induces an EMF within the inductor. Okay, and that causes energy to be stored inside the inductor. Okay, so may energy ka ngayon na na-store dun sa inductor. Okay, anong gagawin niya dyan sa energy niya once na ma-store niya na yan? So, after niyang ma-store yan, okay, syempre i-release niya yung energy na yan. Okay, after some time, pagka-release niya ng energy, okay, ibabalik niya yan actually sa capacitor. So, ngayon nagde-decrease na yung ano, yung energy dun sa inductor pero nag-i-increase naman yung electric potential energy. And after some time, after half of cycle, okay, andiyan na yung capacitor ulit fully charged at yung inductor fully discharged. Again, yung capacitor na yan, after fully charging, ay i-release niya ulit yung energy na yan, i-charge niya ulit itong inductor at magiging fully charged naman yung inductor. Then that happens after 3/4 ng period. And then again, ibabalik niya yung energy na yan dun sa capacitor after a full cycle. So, half a cycle, nabalik na yung energy dun sa capacitor, and another half cycle, nabalik ulit yung energy sa capacitor. So, meron lang exchange of energies between the inductor at saka capacitor. And if there's no resistance, absolutely no resistance at all, okay, yung exchange of energies niyan will will happen continuously. Okay? Unfortunately, sa tunay na buhay, syempre, hindi naman nangyayari yan dahil meron talaga tayong resistance kahit anong gawin natin. Okay, so how do we describe that mathematically? Okay, so to describe that mathematically, syempre, apply natin yung Kirchhoff's rules. We only have two circuit elements. Okay, so the inductor and the capacitor. So sa inductor, ang voltage is L di dt. And sa capacitor, ang voltage is Q over C. We know that the current is just dq dt. And you take the derivative of di dt, which is of I with respect to time, then you're essentially taking the derivative of dq dt, okay, which is second derivative of q with respect to time. So now we replace that here, and we have L d squared q dt squared minus q over c equal to 0. Okay, so this is differential equation that describes yung LC na circuit. And we can solve this equation, okay, by using yung techniques to solve a second order differential equation. But what we'll get, okay, what we'll end up with is I equals negative omega q sine omega t plus some phi, some constant na phi. Okay, so ang omega dito is given by 1 over LC then square root. So yan ang tawag dito sa omega is the angular frequency of oscillation. And if you recall, yung omega na yan is just equal to 2 pi f, and yung frequency is just the reciprocal of the period. At yung period na pinag-uusapan dito kanina, yan yung capital T, is related to that angular frequency. Okay, so yan, yung omega dyan, or incorporates yung period. Okay, yung Q is the maximum charge, okay, which is yun nandiya sa capacitor, okay? So, maximum charge is just yung capacitance times yung maximum na voltage na pwede mong ilagay dun sa ano sa capacitor. Okay, and then yung phi is just a phase constant, okay? Magdedepende yan sa kung ano yung kung kailan nag-start essentially yung ano yung current. Okay? It's not so important at this point. Okay? So, ano yung energies, okay, na nandito sa capacitors? So, first of all, ano yung energy inside the inductor? It's 1/2 Li squared. Anong energy sa capacitor? It's Q squared over 2C. So, yung total energy dito is Q squared over 2C. Okay? Yung Q, capital Q dyan is the total charge na na-store. Okay? But it's also equal to 1/2 capital L and then I squared. Okay? Yung I dito is yung total na current. So, you can use this expression to solve sort of tawag dito as a result of yung conservation of energy. Okay, so let's consider this example para siguro mas maging klaro. So example 30.8, an oscillating circuit, we have a 300 voltage DC power supply that is used to charge a 25 microfarad capacitor. Okay, after the capacitor is fully charged, it is disconnected from the power supply and connected across a 10 millihenry inductor. The resistance in the circuit is negligible. So find the frequency and period oscillation of the circuit. Letter B, find the capacitor charge and the circuit current 1.2 milliseconds after the inductor and capacitor are connected. Okay, and yun lang yung pinapahanap. So sa letter A, okay, ang pinapahanap is frequency and period of oscillation. So may expression na tayo for the frequency is just 1 square root ng 1 over LC. Okay, we know that the inductor is 10 millihenry, inductance is 10 millihenry, and the capacitance is 25 capacitance. Wait. 25 microfarad. So nakalagay dyan. So this is 1 over 10 times 10 to the minus 3 Henry, and then 25 times 10 to the minus 6 farad. Okay, and then we take the square root of that. So the angular frequency is 2.0 times 10 to the 3 radians per second. Okay? And sabi natin ito ay equal sa 2 pi f at yung ayan ay equal sa 2 pi over yung period. So yung period is equal to 1 over 2 pi over omega. So 2 pi over 2 times 10 to the 3 radians per second, and we get the period to be 3.1 milliseconds. Okay. Okay. Now, yung capacitor, okay, so letter B, yung capacitor, find the capacitor charge and the circuit current 1.2 milliseconds after the inductor and capacitor are connected. Okay. So, okay, so ang kailangan nating hanapin dito ay yung charge ng capacitor. Okay. So, wait. Okay, we know na sa letter B, we know na yung Q ay equal sa Q, capital Q, cosine omega t plus phi. Okay, so maximum siya, charge is maximum at t equals 0. Okay. So, yung ibig sabihin yung phi dito is equal to 0. Now, Q is equal to C times yung EMF. Okay, so 25 times 10 to the minus 6 farad times 300 volts. Okay, this gives us 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb. Now, yung small q is equal to 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb. Okay, times 10 times cosine omega t. Okay, and then we know na yung time is 1.2 milliseconds. So, ipapasok natin yun ngayon. So, q is equal to 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb times cosine, ang omega, na-solve na natin kanina, which is 2.0 times 10 to the 3 radians per second times 1.2 times 10 to the minus 3 seconds. Okay, so yung Q is equal to negative 5.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb. Okay. So yan yung charge after 1.2 milliseconds. What about yung current? So we get the current by taking the derivative of Q. So I is equal to dq dt, which is equal to negative omega q sine omega t. Okay, so at t equals 1.2 milliseconds, so we have negative 2.0 times 10 to the 3 radians per second. Yung q na 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb times sine ng 2 times 10 to the 3 radians per second times 1.2 milliseconds. Lagay ko na lang milliseconds. So, I is equal to negative 10 amperes. So, yan yung current at saka charge for a time 1.2 milliseconds. Okay. Next, for the LC circuit in the previous example, find the magnetic and electrical energies at t equals 0 and at t equals 1.2 milliseconds. So at t equals 0, fully charged pa yung capacitor. Okay? So UB is equal to 0 kasi wala ka pang energy na store sa sa inductor. All of the energy is stored inside the capacitor. So you have electric potential energy that is stored. And this is given by Q squared over 2C. Now, Q is 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb squared divided by 2 times 25 times 10 to the minus 6 farad. So yung energy stored is 1.1 joules. So yung electric energy stored is 1.1 joules. And that's also equal to the total energy. So that's for t equals 0. Okay, for letter B, for t equals 1.2 milliseconds, okay, paano natin kukunin yung energy stored? Okay, so we have an expression UB is equal to 1/2 Li squared. Yung I dito is the time varying current. So this will be equal to 1/2 times 10 times 10 to the minus 3 Henry times yung current at 1.2 milliseconds, which is negative 10 amperes squared. So this is equal to 0.5 joules. Okay, and yung electric energy stored is q squared, small q squared over 2c, and yung charge, okay, na na-compute natin, okay, is at 1.2 milliseconds is negative 5.5 times 10 to the minus 3 coulomb squared divided by 2 times 25 times 10 to the minus 6 farad, which is equal to 0.6 joules. Notice that if we add itong dalawa na to, it will be equal to 1.1 joules, which is yung total energy ng buong system. Okay. Okay. So, just to give you some sort of perspective. Okay, so T na 1.2 milliseconds, okay, divide natin yun by the total time. Okay, so that's ilan yun? 3.1 milliseconds. Okay, and this is actually equal to 0.38. Okay, or that's approximately 0.38, or more specifically is 0.375, 3.75. Okay, and ang 3.75 is about 3/8. So yung T na 1.2 milliseconds corresponds to 3/8 of the period. So it's somewhere between a quarter of the way and a fourth of the half of the way. Okay, nung pag-charge niya. Okay. Okay. So now ang idadagdag natin ay yung resistor. Okay, so 'pag dinagdag natin yung resistor, then we get something that, it's really, even more complex, okay? So we have this, circuit here that is composed of, R, C, and, L, okay? If the switch on here, then we're charging the capacitor only, pero walang dumadaan na current dito sa L tsaka sa R. And when the capacitor is fully charged, we switch it back here so that all of the energy is coming from the capacitor and it goes through the inductor and then the resistor. Nung wala pa yung resistor ang mangyayari is magkakaroon ka ng exchange of energies between the inductor tsaka, the capacitor. Pero dahil nagdagdag ka ng resistor, yung resistor na yan, unti-unti niyang kukunin yung energy. Okay? So nababawasan yung total energy, yung total charge, and yung total current. So ang net effect is that imbis na meron kang, okay, imbis na meron kang, okay, energy na ganyan, na constant or charge na constant, okay, ang energy mo unti-unting nababawasan tulad ng nakikita niyo rito sa figure. Okay, so how do you describe that? So let's start with Kirchhoff's rules, of course. Ito yung energy dissipated dun sa resistor. Ito yung energy na store sa inductor at ito yung energy, voltage na nasa tawag dito, sa capacitor. And then we set that to 0 kasi wala ka namang voltage source when the switch is closed, here. Okay, and again, we know that I is dq dt. So ang di dt is equal to d squared q dt squared. So you have a second order differential equation. Na ang solution is q is equal to a negative r over 2 lt and then cosine ng 1 over lc minus r squared over 4 l squared and then square root niyan and then t plus 5. Okay. Okay. Now, kung titignan natin ito mabuti, itong cosine nito gives yung oscillatory motion. Okay? Oscillatory behavior ng circuit. And itong exponential na 'to gives itong decrease in the charge. Okay? Okay. Now, it's not as simple as that though. Magdedepende yan dun sa, values ng R, L, at saka, anong tawag dito? At saka C. Okay? Wait. Okay, so depending on the values of R, L, and C, we can have this underdamped circuit. Pag underdamped yung circuit, okay, ganito magiging behavior niya. We can have this critically damped circuit na kung saan yung behavior niya ay ganito. Okay, and we can also have yung overdamped na circuit na kung saan yung behavior niya ay ganito. Okay, so this is the case na kung saan okay, sige, hindi siguro natin i-discuss yan. Basta ganyan na siya, ganyan ang mangyayari. Okay, now we can sort of give some sense dito sa behavior na yan. If you think about yung shock absorber. Okay, kasi yung shock absorber meron siya nung spring constant, di ba? And kapag yung shock absorber mo ay malambot, Okay, then yun yung case na kung saan underdamp yung circuit. Bakit malambot? Kasi pag dinagalan niyo yung shock absorber na yun, di ba magba-vibrate siya continuously, di ba? Pag nasa likod kayo ng bus, tapos tumama siya sa isang hump, tapos pag malambot yung shock absorber niya, nagva-vibrate lang kayo dun sa likod ng bus. Pero kung matigas yung shock absorber niya, okay, then i-expect nyo, sobrang tigas yung shock absorber, then expect nyo na pag daan niya sa hump, isang bagsak lang siya ganun, tapos wala ng vibration. Pero kung semi na matigas siya malambot, then merong slow na pag-dump ng vibration. Hindi siya mag-oscillate pero mabagal lang yung pagbagsak nung tawag dito nung shock absorber. So ganyan yung nangyayari din dito sa electrical circuit. Okay? So as a last example, consider this. Okay. So an underdamped LRC circuit. So what resistance R is required in terms of LNC to give an LRC series circuit a frequency that is 1/2 the underdamped frequency. Now yung frequency niyan is given by so 1 over LC minus R squared over 4L squared. Yan. So saan natin nakuha yan? Well, dito yan sa expression na to. Kasi kung titignan nyo, it's just cosine omega t plus phi. Okay, so itong lahat na nasa square root na yan, yan yung omega nyo. Okay? So omega is equal to square root of 1 over LC minus R squared over 4LC. Kung papansinin nyo, pag walang resistor, it reduces back to 1 over LC. Okay, so ang tanong dito is, what resistance R is required to give an LRC series circuit a frequency that is 1/2 the underdamped frequency. Okay, so if it's 1/2 the underdamped frequency, so omega prime is equal to omega over 2. Okay, anong ibibigay niyan sa atin? Okay, so ito yung omega prime natin. And if we have omega, okay, that is 1/2 the underdamped frequency. So 1 over LC, okay? So itong ibig sabihin niya na 1/2 the underdamped frequency. Ito yung underdamped frequency and then ito yung frequency pag wala kang resistance. So that's 1/2 the underdamped frequency, okay? So if you solve that equation, if you try to solve for R in this equation, you get R is equal to 3L over C. Okay? So yan yung resistance corresponding to 1/2 of the underdamped frequency. So for just to give a perspective, pag ang R is equal to okay, so if we add R to the circuit, okay, and if we have L is equal to 10 millihenry at saka C is equal to 25 microfarad, okay, so ibig sabihin kung dito tayo sa LC circuit natin, okay, kung magdadagdag tayo ng R which is equal to 35 ohms, okay, yung frequency, okay, dito ang frequency of oscillation is 320 Hertz. Pero pag nagdagdag tayo ng R, ang magiging frequency of oscillation is 160 Hertz. Okay, so yun yung sinasabi dito sa problem na ito. Pag wala kang R, okay, ang frequency is 320 Hertz. At pag meron kang R, marireduce yun, madadampen siya to 160 Hertz na angular frequency. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. Okay, again, kung meron kayong questions, just take a screenshot of of the slide or slides na gusto niyo itanong. Pagkatapos, ask your question. Send me your question via email. Okay, so thank you very much.